The US government needs to borrow $10 trillion this year, and for the first time in decades, no one wants to lend it. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and yes, in this video, we're going to be talking about the national debt. We're going to be talking about the 10-year Treasury and the importance behind it. I feel like a lot of beginners might understand the importance when it comes down to the stock market, but they don't really understand the bond market. Again, my goal in this video is for you to just understand the bond market a little bit better and why it is important for you to understand, especially right now that there's so much uncertainty in the market. I really hope that you learned something new. And if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. One of the things that I want you to understand is when it comes down to this 10-year Treasury, let's pull it up right here. The 10-year Treasury has recently been going up since the month of March. Why do you care? Well, very simple. The 10-year Treasury is pretty much I would say, credit card for the US government, right? They need to borrow $10 trillion. They need to borrow, right, $10 trillion at a specific interest rate. The rate that you see is pretty much the interest rate that they're going to pay. And very simple. Do you want to pay a higher or lower interest rate when you borrow money? Well, we all want to borrow at a lower interest rate, right? No one wants to borrow at a higher interest rate. This is why you often see Trump demanding Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, that you need to cut interest rates because he wants to refinance this debt at a lower rate. Well, why doesn't Jerome Powell just cut interest rates so the US doesn't have to pay much in interest? Well, because cutting rates is inflationary, and with oil prices going up, and then that gets passed down to the PPI report, which we just saw came in higher than what was expected. And then it gets passed down to the CPI report, which then will support the case that inflation is going up already because of oil prices month over month. Why would the Federal Reserve cut interest rates if cutting interest rates is even more inflationary? Do you see the problem there? So again, let's go ahead and dive a little bit more into it. What I want you to understand is, well, as the 10-year Treasury acts as a benchmark, especially for mortgages, you might have also recently seen that the 30-year mortgage rates have rose for the fifth straight week to now 6.46%. This obviously is going to have negative implications into the housing market. The higher the rates are, the slower or less likely the demand is to be there. No one wants to buy a house aggressively when rates are higher. Makes sense, right? Well, how can we fix this? The thing that I want you to understand is the correlation. Yes, the 10-year Treasury has recently been going up. And anytime that we see that the 10-year Treasury gets close to 4.5%, it has been a great indicator of when Trump begins to signal de-escalation. Well, maybe it was because the stock market was selling off that Trump really began to want to pump the markets and provide hope. No, I really haven't seen that the stock market's performance isn't really a driver for the Trump administration. But if you pay attention to the times that he's de-escalated, it's always been when the 10-year Treasury gets close to 4.5%. It is the zone where it almost becomes the Trump's political red line. Because again, the stock market's performance might not have negative implications into, right, the US government, but the 10-year Treasury does, because that determines the rate in which they borrow money at. And needing to borrow $10 trillion this year, again, no one wants to refinance at a higher rate. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is I wanted you to understand the correlation. Anytime, as you could see, the month of March of 2025, when the 10-year Treasury began to uptick, that is really when we began to see, if we go on the 1-hour time frame for the NASDAQ market, that is really when we began to see the sell-off present itself for the NASDAQ market. But again, if we get to 4.5% and like clockwork, if the theme continues and Trump begins to signal a de-escalation, then that means that maybe markets have bottomed. It can act as a potential dip buy opportunity, and we can begin to go long as bond yields begin to drop and overall markets begin to uptick. But that is only if he actually signals on the de-escalation. And those are the two things I wanted you to pay attention to. The red line zone. The first thing is for the 10-year Treasury, that seems to be right around 4.5%. So pay attention to it. Now that you understand why it's so important for the US government, because it acts as pretty much the interest rate in which they borrow money at, again, we're only $39 trillion in debt. But remember, 10 trillion of that is what the US needs to refinance this year. So pay attention to, as we get closer to 4.5%, if we actually see Trump continue to signal a de-escalation, therefore driving markets back up and 10-year Treasury yields back down. Again, can act as a good signal for potential dip buy opportunity. But if bond yields begin to go down, then again, maybe Trump can continue to escalate, drive more attacks, and then that's when we can begin to maybe take profits or short the market as bond yields begin to go back up and overall markets begin to go back down. Now that we understand the correlation between the two, this is what I wanted you to understand. Well, now that we know the red line zone for Trump being right around 4.5%, I also want you to understand some of the other drivers. Oil market. Oil has been going up, and the more that oil goes up, the more that normally the overall market goes down. And it's not just because we're paying more at the pump, but because of the reaction that the Federal Reserve is likely to have. When oil prices begin to surge, those higher prices get passed down to consumers. And the thing that I wanted to make sure that you understood is that in just a few days, April 10th, we're going to have the next CPI data report. This is the Consumer Price Index report. This is where month over month, we will understand if prices are going up or down for consumers. As of right now, based off of what we saw from the recent PPI report, it came in much higher than what was expected. And when this came out, markets dropped aggressively. And normally markets don't really care when the PPI report, because this is for producers, report comes out. But the forecast was 2.9%. We came in at 3.4%, showing that inflation is actually rising higher than what was expected. So if we have this being passed down to producers, remember, what gets passed down to producers when it comes down to inflation, then eventually it gets passed down to consumers. So now, is inflation going to come in higher than what is expected? Why does that matter? Because remember, if inflation is actually beginning to go up, then you can't expect the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates anytime soon. If anything, if inflation begins to uptick very aggressively, the Federal Reserve might actually have to raise interest rates. And why is that important? Well, I want you to zoom out. Do you remember back in 2022 when inflation was at 9.1%, 40-year highs? The Federal Reserve had to aggressively raise interest rates to make it more expensive for people like you and I and businesses to borrow money and therefore slow down the economy. When they began to raise interest rates, overall markets began to drop because remember, the higher the rates, the less the economy is stimulated and also the less people are willing to borrow, slowing down the economy. Markets dropped for 12 consecutive months, found a support, and then that's when we began to see the pivot. They began to cut interest rates, markets began to rally, as therefore it became less expensive for people like you and I and businesses to borrow money. And those are the two big things that I wanted you to understand. I wanted you to understand the importance between the 10-year Treasury and the red line zone of 4.5% and how it tends to act as a good indicator of when Trump seems to be more willing to offer some form of de-escalation notice that then signals a recovery indicator for the market and maybe a peak indicator for the 10-year Treasury. But again, things are still developing. We're paying very close attention to this and also paying very close attention to the up and coming CPI report, which I do plan to live stream for free on my channel. And again, if you ever want to tune on into those live sessions, all I literally ask you to do is drop a thumbs up on this video and don't forget to subscribe. Again, one of the biggest issues for beginners that are just getting started is there's so much to digest in this market full of chaos. If you ever need a little bit of help getting started, I do have a bunch of free videos here on YouTube, but I also do trade live every day. So if you are a visual learner and you learn best by watching other people do, I trade live every morning right at market open with my LPP team. If you want to take 2 minutes, feel free to check it out. It's the second link in the description down below. We have members that signed back up in 2018 that still watch me trade live today, and they only paid once. And a big sale is going on right now, and it breaks down to $1.10 a day whenever you're ready to join. If you want to check it out, 2 minutes, check it out. Second link in the description down below. I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that earned a thumbs up. And again, if you ever have any suggestions, either feel free to comment down below or message me on Instagram, which is linked in the description. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.